Hi there. Thanks for tuning in to Make This Happen, where we discuss an idea we've been dying to see come alive. Every week, my friend Jay Yee and myself, Alex Gonzalez, will bring you a product you never knew you needed. And it's my turn to revolutionize another industry. My turn to come up with an invention that has never been seen before. My turn to come up with a way to make bicycles better. I want to fundamentally change the bicycle. I think there's some things that have stayed with the bicycle, probably because they couldn't improve upon it, but I want to try. I want a bicycle, Jay, that the seat does not feel so uncomfortable. I want a better seat. I want there to be some weather protection if possible. If I'm riding it without ruining anything, that would also increase aerodynamics. So far, I'm going to tell you lightly. I was thinking that you could make a seat that is built, honestly, this is just off the cuff. Depending on what kind of parts you got down there, have a seat customized for you, depending on how much it hurts. Everybody, I think, hurts from being in a saddle. It's called like a saddle sore. I think we can do better.
I mean, for the seat, just to make it more comfortable, why don't you just have it like a booster seat where it's literally just a block that you put on top of a seat, and it's just like two little butt cheek imprints for the kid to put their butt in. What if it's just like that? It's like a booster seat looking thing, but it's like, and it comes in 3 different sizes: small, medium, large, and you just put it on there like a bicycle seat, and you could move it up and down, like swivel it in case you want to stand up a little bit more, if you want to lay back, kind of more of a low rider feel to it. And it's just a wider seat, you know what I mean? And it's more just like, and it has the cushioning and everything on there. And it's just wider.
But it's funny I say but you need to be able to still pedal. And it would be very difficult to pedal with a booster seat. I was almost thinking about separating the seat out, and instead of making one seat, make 2 seats, almost like the booster seat idea, but it's a little bit more of a skeletal structure in which you fit into, and then it helps you pedal from there so that your legs are mostly free, but you're still, the buttocks, the glutes are still cupped.
Yeah, I mean, we could go that route, but I mean, I don't see how the booster seat I mean, of course, it's not going to be like 3 inches tall. It's going to be flat, but I don't see how that would hinder the pedaling at all, because if you're actually on a bicycle and you're sitting down and you're pedaling, it's not the most comfortable thing anyway. When most people are pedaling, they're like kind of like up, like they get off their seat. You like stand up and off, and then you start pedaling, right?
Well, you stand up if you're sprinting and stuff like that, but you're going to be leaning forward a lot of the time.
Right.
Which leads me into another thing. We got to make handles where they're using Dr. Scholl's on those handles. There's no reason for you to get a blister, no reason for you to get carpal tunnel. I want there to almost be something where it's like Dr. Scholl's on the handlebars and then a wrist strap that connects everything so you don't get carpal tunnel. Can you believe you can get carpal tunnel from riding a bike?
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah. You don't want to solve one malady and pick up another. What do you think about that? Is there any way that we could maybe make the handles better? What if there was a way where the handles, instead, it's something where there's grooves to put your fingers through and lock them in, and then there's a thumb grip, and then from there it automatically puts your wrist straight?
All that just sounds dangerous if you fall.
Falling on a bike sucks anyway. I mean, you're not you like on a longboard, you can put your hands out in front of you, but on a bike, like you're holding on to the handlebars for
Yeah, but
most of the
like you
time.
get the handlebar could get twisted, and then your fingers are caught in the freaking grips, and so it like breaks all your fingers because you're like falling down a hill and it's just spinning it all over the place. Um, instead, what
Hmm.
I feel like would be a more it's an uglier way to fix it, but I think could fix this problem is just put like so there's the regular handlebar bars, and then extending out from past the handlebars is just a place to rest your wrists behind it. You know, so you're holding on to the handlebars, and if you give it some slack, there's something there to like support your wrists.
I see.
Kind of like
Like a
a
guide.
yeah, or like I'm thinking like a like the opposite of a handguard on a sword, where it's instead of in the front, it's in the back, just so you have something
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
rest your wrists on. But first of all, like I said, it's not very good looking. It doesn't look great. It would just be these weird metal bars sticking out of your handlebars. But that could
But
alleviate some.
I don't mind that idea because when you really look at a bicycle, it's funky. It doesn't really look like anything. It's kind of almost a horse, but not really.
Yeah.
So we've got the handlebars down. We've got the seat down. Now, I want to be able to add something to make it so whenever you're riding in rainy or windy weather, you can set it up maybe like a shell that clicks on to the frame, the handlebars, so that you can be weather resistant and also improves aerodynamics.
But what would a windshield for your bike do for the rain on top of you?
Well, so in my picture, I picture almost like this plastic half cocoon that is affixed to your bike that would have maybe a latch that you would then slide into and then get into, and then it would close. And now you're under this latch that would help keep weather away, and that you almost certainly wouldn't want on a sunny day because then you wouldn't be able to feel the wind or anything like that. Is that even useful, or should I just like should people be wearing a head umbrella and a windbreaker?
For that, it's just it would look just so ridiculous unless everybody was doing it. I don't think a regular bike rider would utilize such a thing. Um, I would just say don't ride your bike in the rain. It's slippery. It's dangerous out there.
Just take a break. Why would you want to do that anyway?
Yeah. Um, but I don't know. In terms of weather stuff,
Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe you don't need to ride your bike when there's bad weather. That could be too.
what I could see instead of protecting your whole body from the weather, maybe it is more of like a kind of like a shin guard you could add to the pedals. Because one of the worst things about riding a bike in the rain is if you go through a puddle that you weren't expecting to go through, and it just splashes up, and your entire half jeans and your shoes just get completely soaked in mud and water. And so maybe like a detachable shin guard, kind of like how you could put your there's like the pedals that are made for bicycle shoes where you put your feet into these stupid little
Oh yeah, and it
hooks.
affixes them. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be kind of like that, but it extends a little bit higher up, so you're protected from any splashing down there.
Now, I know you don't like to ride bicycles because they ruin jeans. Is there a way that we can improve bicycles so that they do not ruin
Well, the
jeans?
seats, if they were just wide seats instead of a thing that goes in between your crotch, that
Yeah.
fixes it already.
Yeah.
It's mainly the because the seat is pointed at the end, and also just because you're pedaling, it's rubbing the insides of your jeans so often it just eventually blows them out. So the flat seat will help, but just because you're pedaling, there's nothing you could do.
It's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, the tires. No one likes a popped inner tube. Is there a way that we can make a tire? It'd have to be a couple of options where there's a road, a mountain, and maybe a hybrid or cold or wet weather tire that would withstand punctures. What if it had like a carbon fiber lining in the tire itself so the inner tube was protected, like some kind of netting?
I don't know much about tire like technology per se. Especially bike tires, since they are so small and so skinny. And some bikes, they're so thin, I don't even think any air goes in them, to be honest.
Oh, it does.
Okay, I'm not super sure on it, but maybe we could do something kind of like what Mini Cooper, I think, does, where they have like a 2-tire system where there's like a tire that you inflate, but then there's like an inner tire as well. That's more of a backup tire where if you do pop the outer tire, the inner tire is still there, so it's still usable, but you are gonna have to replace it when you get to where you get to. It's like a spare.
That's not too bad. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have another. We're gonna have an inner tube inflating effect that will keep everything going, and we'll also be using the previous inner tube as kind of like a meat shield per se, but a rubber shield.
But I mean, I guess tires are just interesting because I feel like bikers who like to bike often, tires are like their more of like the cosmetic piece. You know what I mean? Make your bike stand out.
I would think maybe rims, but not tires.
I got you.
With the tires, depending on the tread, it changes how things are. On mine, I have thinner tires, so it's more of a hybrid where it does well on road. It does okay on like off-road terrain, but it's not as suited to it as like maybe a fat tire would be with a lot more tread. But when I'm on roads, I get up and go. So, and the last thing is, let's make it standard. Every bike needs to have a light. Every single one needs to have a blinking reflective light.
For sure.
You need to be visible because people get killed. Plain and simple.
What about in that case also like turning signals and blinkers and stuff like that?
That's a great idea, Jay. Definitely turning signals and blinkers. And in fact, with our lights, that it's also going to be a brake light. Things that I know people always say that bikers do not act like pedestrians, but maybe if we make it so easy that they do the same things they do while driving, it won't be as hard.
Maybe it doesn't even have to be blinkers and turning signals. What if we do it so it's intuitive, where there are the 2 lights in the back, one on the left, one on the right. And if you even slightly turn it one way or the other, it just lights up. Because a lot of bike riders, they do kind of wobble, you know? And so if it just lights up to let someone who's behind them know, hey, this biker that might not know that you're behind them is going to the right. Like even if he's unaware of it, he is going right. Like the handlebars are turning right. And it could be like at a certain degree angle, it registers that, and then the light turns on. But that could be a solution to that, because blinkers, it's like if someone just doesn't use it, it's just the same as not having them. You know what I mean? It's like driving in cars.
No doubt. And and we're gonna get to one other thing that you reminded me of. No more little bells. We got to have something that a driver can hear inside of a car while listening to music. So, da-ding, da-ding. That's not going to help anybody. But I think we're going to have
the clown horn, the doo-doo, dirt. You know what I'm talking about?
Why don't we go even further and get that like chicken they sell in Spencer's that just yells like it's dying, like it's been lobbed off?
Yeah.
But I was thinking like a good old, maybe a beep beep. not really a horn where it's like, but like a little beep beep, like a little Roadrunner kind of thing. What do you think?
Sure, why not? What would it be? Just like a button, and there's like a speaker attached to this thing?
Yeah, like a little button, and then like a compressed horn that it has.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Well, Schwinn, make this happen. Thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions or products you'd like to see talked about, feel free to write in at outpoundgames@gmail.com. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to join the Outpound family, come find us at patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early, meaning Make This Happen gets to your ears that much sooner. If you enjoyed our show, take a second to give us a review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Store, and more. Catch you guys next Sunday with Jay's brilliant idea.
Peppers.
Peppers. Can't wait to talk about that one. My butthole's burning already.
And this might protect you from that.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.